Good evening, everyone. As always, give me a minute to get this out there on the internet, and then I will get back to you. So, hope everyone's doing all right, having a good Monday evening at this point. I guess some of you it's Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, something like that. Mr. Spaceman 360, hello, welcome. Congrats to you, you big Briscoe fan, on your big win. I know how happy you are. Borderline Briar, welcome. One more second, just confirming that everything is up and running, and then we will get going as always. We got our tabs. The first thing you're going to see is going to be really confusing. It's Todd Gilliland. Mr. Spaceman loves Chase Briscoe. All right. Anyways, okay. So, I guess I should turn the camera on. That would be smart. Okay, there we go. You may be wondering, why are we looking at Todd Gilliland in a tweet from January of 2025? Todd Gilliland might have been a crucial piece in the Oklahoma City Thunder winning a title. Cannot confirm it. You can't deny it, though. Statistically, Todd Gilliland, the Thunder have never lost an NBA title in seasons that Todd Gilliland attends a home game. So that's why we're looking at this. The Thunder won the title. I'm quite happy, if you can't tell. I'm wearing all this Thunder stuff. But anyways, let's move on to actual NASCAR stuff. So first bit of news in regards to the Truck Series race at Lime Rock Park. Lime Rock Park, of course, is a new Truck Series location. But what was I going to say? Mr. Spaceman, thank you. Thunder up. I know you're sad because the Mavericks are dumb because they traded Luka for nothing. But thank you. I do appreciate it. What was I going to say? Right. Jordan Taylor. He has raced a NASCAR Cup Series race before. He subbed for Chase Elliott at COTA in 2023. Qualified in the top 5. I think he ended up finishing 12th, 13th in that race, if I remember correctly. But he will be racing at Lime Rock Park. I believe he has raced there in the IMSA series. He's an IMSA driver. I know that for a fact, but I don't know what he's raced, but I'm pretty sure he's raced there. But he is going to be in the 7 truck for Lime Rock Park. So we're going to have another road course ringer at this race for the Truck Series on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. I think it's like an 11 a.m. start or something. But Jordan Taylor will be in that truck. I think that's going to be a really fun race just to see guys like him, Cam Waters in that race. So I think it could be fun. I think it's a great opportunity for him to see how he'll do in that truck race. Let's move on to Pocono. Looking at your finishing results. So, Borderline Briar, hello. Brock, hello. Clausen Z, hello. Jamie from Lake Norman. In between the lanes, what's up? How's it going? Suarez fan 000. So Borderline Briar said, let's kick this off with a bang. Discuss the playoff bubble because this season feels like 2017 because of all the surprise winner through 17 races. All right, yeah, actually, I did want to talk about the bubble because last night I was so distracted by Game 7 of the finals that I completely blew through the end of my video and I did not even, reference the bubble. Just absolutely whiffed it. So, apologies for that. So let's look at the bubble. Zoom in. Here's your bubble. Can you see it up there? Oh, I zoomed in too much. Oops. There we go. I think you can see that. Yeah, that's better. So, playoff bubble. Obviously, we got 11 guys with wins. However, there is, of course, the case that if we have 17 different winners, whoever's lowest in points gets bumped. Right now, that would be Shane Van Gisbergen. I don't even have to look it up. I just know that's the case. I would say that's still unlikely. We have how many races do we have left? I think we got 9 left in the regular season. I think we have 9 races left. So we would need 6 new winners in 9 races. I would say it's unlikely. Plus the odds, if you're looking at Shane Van Gisbergen, lowest in the points out of these guys, and more than likely not, the winners being Elliott, Reddick, Buescher. But we could also see like an Allmendinger win a road course race, or we could see a super speedway win from Erik Jones. It's always in the possibility. We have Iowa on the schedule. We got Richmond on the schedule. We have, what else do we have on the schedule? Do we have any normal ovals? Oh, we got Dover. We got Indianapolis. Like, those are more than likely going to produce repeat winners like a Kyle Larson, a Denny Hamlin, a Christopher Bell, William Byron. Like, those guys are more than likely going to win those more traditional ovals. I won't call them normal. I guess normal might be offensive, but the traditional ovals. So I would assume we're going to get at least 3 repeat winners in those alone. We'll probably see a repeat winner at a road course more than likely. So I would say I doubt that we hit 17 different winners. It would have to be mass chaos. The only way I could see it happening is like we get a road course ringer picking up a win like an Allmendinger. We get a random super speedway winner in Erik Jones. We get a random super speedway winner in Todd Gilliland. And then the more traditional ovals, we see a Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, and then Chris Buescher wins somewhere. There's your 6. So once again, I would say it's highly unlikely. I would say we end up with 14 or 15, maybe 15. So right now, this could be very well the fight for the bubble at this exact moment. But yeah, I mean, it's something we got to pay attention to. In the last 5 weeks, we've had 4 first-time winners in 2025. Ross Chastain at the 600, Ryan Blaney at Nashville, SVG at Mexico, and Chase Briscoe at Pocono. The only repeat winner in there was Denny Hamlin picking up his 3rd win of the season at Michigan. So I would say it's unlikely that we end up with 17 winners. It's not impossible, though, but I would lean towards it being unlikely just because we do have a few traditional ovals to go. And with tracks like Dover, Indy, Richmond, and Iowa, I would assume we see pretty standard winners and guys who have already won. And even if it was a new winner, I would bet on it being a Chase Elliott or Tyler Reddick. So, we didn't look at the bubble last night. I apologize. Once again, I was distracted. But Elliott and Reddick, unless there's 5 different winners at the end of the season, 5 new winners by the end of the regular season, I would say they're in, no question. Like, even if there's 3 winners, Reddick's safely in over Buescher. Elliott's safely in over Reddick. So Elliott's more safe. Tyler Reddick's a little bit less safe, but still very safe. But then these guys are nowhere near safe. Bowman's the least safe, obviously. Everyone down here, at this point, I would say it's a must-win. I know Preece is only 20 back, but I would say you need a win at this point of the season because Preece can go points racing at the road courses and stay out and score 8 stage points, 9 stage points, end up getting 15 a season or 15 a race at the road courses because he stays out. But then you end up back in 21st on these restarts. You get wrecked, and all of that was for nothing. And all of a sudden, you maybe have inched forward. But what happens when Michael McDowell wins at Chicago? All of a sudden, you did all that work. You made up 7 or 8 points on the cut line. Well, now the cut line has moved another 10 points because you were points racing. So I don't think it matters who you are. Preece, minus 20. Everyone from Allmendinger back right now is in a must-win. Like, if you're a race behind, you're in a must-win. So Preece, even though he's at the bubble right now, minus 20, I would say it's a must-win. We saw what happened last year when people points raced with Bubba, Chastain, and Buescher. Yeah, at this point, you got to go for a win. If it works out to where, let's say, we don't get any new winners for the rest of the season, or for the rest of the regular season, or the only new winners are Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick. Well, in that case, okay, sure, I guess points racing would have worked, but hindsight's always 20/20, so do what you want with that. But yes, that is the playoff bubble that we did not look at last night because I am dumb. So thank you, Borderline Briar, for bringing that up early. That's our first point of discussion, the bubble. Yeah, we got 11 guys who are tentatively in, assuming there's no 17th winner. But, yeah, I don't know. Interesting. So, hello, David. Welcome. In between the lanes with the correct Monday pick on Layne Riggs. Good job there. So, hey, you know how NASCAR has that 36 for 36 where you have to pick a winner every week, but you can only use everyone once? I randomly picked Briscoe for Pocono. That worked out well. That wasn't my Monday pick, but I just thought I'd mention it. George, amen. Oklahoma City, NBA champs. Can't believe I'm saying those words, but here we are. I'm happy. I already ordered a hat, people. You know I already ordered a hat. So, there's something I missed up here that I wanted to talk about. Mike, welcome. Where is it? I'm losing my mind here. That would be, Jamie, that would be clever if Spire Motorsports with the 7 truck had a 7-Up sponsor for Lime Rock Park. No, Mr. Spaceman, that's not how it works. It's based off wins. So if there's 16 different guys with 1 win, they don't base it off stage wins. It's based on the points. That's the tiebreaker. But if you have 2 wins, 2 race wins, you're in. That's the tiebreaker there. But if you only have 1 win and you're tied with someone else and they have 8 stage wins and you only have 1, but you're higher in the points, that's the tiebreaker. So it is not based off of the playoff or stage wins. So it's actually based on the regular season points, unless they changed the rule and I didn't know that, which is very, very much a possibility, but I'm pretty sure that's still how it works. Tori, thank you for your contribution to the channel. Donation to the channel. I still don't know what to call that. But Tori, I appreciate you. I think this is your 2nd straight week with the donation to the cause. So I appreciate you, Tori, very much. Very kind of you. So we're very thankful for you, Tori. Your support means a lot. Borderline Briar, you're throwing out a lot of possibilities. I mean, we could go through 1,000 possibilities about who could win where. In general, I would say, once again, I think 3-4 more winners by the end of the regular season at most. I just don't see 6. I struggle to see 5. The road courses, Atlanta and Daytona, they throw kind of a wild card in it, but we've seen Atlanta has been pretty normal winners for the most part. Daniel Suarez was the biggest outlier there out of the Atlanta winners on the reconfiguration, but outside of that, it's been William Byron, it's been Christopher Bell, it's been Chase Elliott, it's been Joey Logano. Like, it's been pretty normal winners. Despite it being a super speedway now, it usually ends up being a very good car winning the race. So we can factor that in. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's 100% guarantee that it's going to be a normal winner. We could very well see some chaos happen, a big wreck happen. Michael McDowell wins, Todd Gilliland, Zane Smith, someone like that. But just the history would show, the short history at this new Atlanta, for the most part, it's a normal winner. Daytona is for sure a wild card. We see wild winners there all the time. I mean, look at what happened in that race last year. Harrison Burton won. Road courses, we already got SVG as a wild card. He's already won. He'll be heavily favored at Chicago. Sonoma, he could go out there and win. But AJ Allmendinger, I would say, is the biggest wild card on the road courses outside of SVG, and then McDowell's not too far behind. But outside of that, we could see a normal winner. Larson won Sonoma last year. Chase Elliott's still a really good road racer. Tyler Reddick's still a really good road racer. Chris Buescher's won a road course. Alex Bowman's the defending Chicago winner. So it's like, while we may see an AJ Allmendinger or a Michael McDowell, it's a heavy possibility we get a repeat winner. It doesn't matter if it's Larson or if it's SVG, down here at the 30s in the points, wherever he is now. But he's already won, so. In between the lanes, I'm glad you were happy. Knicks fans they're an interesting bunch, for sure. At least the internet version. Well, I take that back. I will say about Knicks fans, they're passionate. You got to respect it, but oh my goodness. When they were celebrating beating the Celtics in the semis, the East semis, that was certainly a sight. But they're a loyal fan base. I respect it. So they are a bit crazy, though. But yes, I'm happy, obviously, in between the lanes, but I appreciate you being happy for the Thunder as well. Mike Wallace's Monday picks from last week were Tanner Gray, Connor Zilisch, and Blaney. Well, you nailed Zilisch. You missed the other two, but as you said, if we go to the results, Tanner Gray second, you were close, and Blaney ends up third in Cup, I think. So you were close to going 3 for 3, but at the end of the day, 1 for 3, but still podiums in all three. That's not bad at all. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a winner as a crew chief now. That's kind of crazy. But Connor Zilisch wins his first oval. Does that count, though? It's really a triangle. Does that really count? Okay, I'm obviously joking around. But yeah, Connor Zilisch wins at Pocono. Dale Jr. is his crew chief. Very random, very odd, very unique situation. So I saw a lot of people jumping on Kyle Busch for what Kyle Busch said in terms of like it's just a warm body up there or whatever he said. Like, I get what he's saying, like in terms of at the end of the day, Dale Jr. is probably not doing all the calculations. He's probably not doing every little thing that the crew chief normally does, that Marty Lindley normally does, but he's having to make calls. He's having to do small things. He's having to coach up the driver. So sure, he wasn't doing the full-blown crew chiefing thing, but he was doing what he was supposed to do, be an interim crew chief. So he gets the win as a crew chief. So good for him. He got himself a win as a crew chief. So don't really know how else to expand, but I could also be wrong, and he could have actually been doing all these calculations and stuff. But obviously on top of the pit box these days, you got all sorts of help. You got a lot of technology, a lot of data. You got engineers, mechanics, all these people in your ears throwing numbers at you, telling you, hey, here's this. So that for sure helped him. And also, of course, Junior Motorsports, a top-tier Xfinity team. I'm a Kevin Durant fan, so good for him. Him and Houston's going to be interesting. I don't know. We'll see how they do. Once again, we've seen this before, though. So I would say Brooklyn was the closest he got to winning another title if his foot was one size smaller. But the Phoenix thing, the thing that killed the Phoenix deal with Durant there was, I don't get why they traded for Beal. I don't understand why they traded for Bradley Beal. They didn't need him. They needed depth because Booker and Durant can do so much. They need depth, not Bradley Beal. So that backfired massively the instant they got Beal. So hopefully Houston learns from that mistake and they get Durant some depth. Truck Series playoff bubble. Well, unfortunately for us, the NASCAR website is still dumb and does not actually give us a playoff bubble. It's literally like 5 races to go in the Truck Series before their playoffs start, but here's NASCAR in their top tier app or top tier website. They don't have a playoff bubble, so I got to read it off. You're going to have to do it via ear. We got 7 different winners. Corey Heim, Chandler Smith, Layne Riggs, Tyler Ankrum, Daniel Hemrick. Stuart Friesen, Roger Carruth, those are your 7. Now, if we go to the cutoff line, Stuart Friesen or Grant Enfinger is 5th in points. He's currently plus 50. Caden Honeycutt, 6th in points, is plus 45. And then we got to go to Ty Majeski here, 8th in points. He is currently plus 10. First car out is Jake Garcia. That's right. Defending champion Ty Majeski is not in the playoffs as of this moment. Or he's in the playoffs, but he's barely in the playoffs. Apologies for the confusion. Plus 10 for Majeski, minus 10 for Garcia, and then Gio, he's minus 58. So everyone from Gio on backwards. That includes two-time champion Ben Rhodes, by the way. Everyone on back has to win a race at this point, I would say. So it's really down to Jake Garcia and Ty Majeski for that final point spot. Unless we get a new winner, then in that case, everything's kind of screwed for Majeski and Garcia. So, but yeah, it's a tight battle between these two, but it's literally just these two on the bubble. These two are a good chunk ahead, and things could happen, of course, but Grant Enfinger's too good. Like, I feel like he'll win a race before the end of the season. And then Honeycutt's been running pretty well. I feel like he's knocking on the door of a win potentially, but they just got to close out the deal. So, as for Majeski, massive championship hangover for him, it feels like, being on that bubble. Jake Garcia's actually had a pretty decent season, if you ask me. So, it'll be an interesting battle for the bubble. We got, how many races do we have left in the Truck Series schedule? We've got, before the playoffs, we got Lime Rock, Lucas Oil, or IRP, sorry. 1, 2, 3. We only got 4 more races before the playoffs start. So, yeah, it's coming down to crunch time in the Truck Series. If they want to see, Majeski versus Garcia, that's it for the bubble right now. Otherwise, it's going to be a new winner. So, yeah, that's current Truck Series situation. Thank you for asking. Whoever asked that about the Truck Series bubble. Borderline Briar, thank you. Fantastic Priest, welcome. Playoff spots 6, 7, and 8 are all Team Penske. Yeah, Penske's all in. All 3 of theirs, plus their satellite team and the Wood Brothers, they're all in the playoffs. They locked that in a while ago. I know Blaney technically wasn't locked in until Nashville, but let's be real, he was always going to make the playoffs. Thoughts on Pocono? If a car can have that much of an advantage in clean air and stay ahead of second place. So yeah, Clausen Z, that's been a topic on the internet at least, and the internet always has the right opinions, of course. I didn't think it was that bad, like the race itself. Like, as I said last night, when Hamlin and Buescher got pushed back into the midfield, when they got strategied into restarting 18th and 19th, when they were in the dirty air, when others were in the dirty air, they could make their way through traffic. They were just straight up better than everyone. But it's when that lead car has the clean air, and they talked about this on the broadcast a bunch, how much of a difference that clear air makes. That clean air, like, not like if that was, okay, let's go to the finishing results. If that was Daniel Suarez out front or Justin Haley out front, I think realistically Hamlin gets by because he's significantly better. But Chase Briscoe was he's always a solid car, top 10, top 5, whatever you want to call it. It's a Joe Gibbs racing car at Pocono. Like, that car up front in clean air is always going to have a massive advantage. It's going to be really difficult to pass. Now, obviously, the fuel saving and all that makes it complicated, and you're thinking, oh, well, like, how could he have stayed out front? Yeah, sure, it's frustrating for sure, but at the same time, it was not impossible to pass, so it wasn't as bad of a race as I feel like everyone's saying. Sure, it was frustrating the end of the race when you have the leader saving all this fuel, and the second place guy who's been the best car all day just literally can't pass him. For sure, it's frustrating, but I mean, we saw Larson have to make some passes to get up through the field. I think I read somewhere that last run, Brad restarted 24th, and he made his way up into the top 10. So, like, it's not like everyone was sitting in a single file line. You couldn't pass it all. Like, it's Kansas 2020. It was not that bad. It was a little frustrating with the battle for the win, I guess, but maybe I'm numb to it at this point, but we saw guys going up through the field. So, sure, the battle for the win wasn't as exciting in terms of passing. I think we only saw 1 or 2 on-track passes for the lead that weren't strategy related. So, that's something to look at. I guess. But overall, I thought it was a decent race. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it was great or anything, but it was all right. I had fun watching Denny and Busher for the most part, going up through the field, and just the different strategies I can appreciate. I like it. So that's just me, though. Yeah, David, 23-11. Oh, my goodness. They were stinky yesterday. Look at that. Look how far we got to scroll. For 23-11, the first 23-11 car in 32nd place. They have 3 cars in the field. 3. The first one's in 32nd. Look at this. And now, albeit they all had similar issues. They all had brake issues. Herbst and Wallace both blew a brake rotor. Reddick's brakes were overheating and they didn't want to crash. But oof, oh my goodness, that was a rough weekend for that team. Steven, oh my goodness. Trackhouse yesterday, Chastain 26th. I don't know how he ended up there. Suarez 15th was the highest finisher. Yeah, rough day. Where did they qualify? I mean, Suarez had a really good qualifying effort. You know, for Trackhouse, who sucked at qualifying all year long, they've really picked it up in the last few weeks ever since Chastain publicly called them out. SVG qualified decent by his expectations, I would say. Chastain didn't really qualify great, so, but I mean, maybe the strategies don't. I mean, SVG, it was a bad day for him. Multiple incidents. Heck, one of their pit crew guys got hit by a flying tire. I mean, they just had a bad day straight up. So that was just bad day for them. Don't know what happened to Chastain. Suarez, though, decent. I think they would have liked to be in the top 10, but a better weekend, I would say, than for the most part. So, anywho. Let's go. I saw someone, I can't remember who it was. Oh, here it is. In Between the Lanes. Let's talk about him. Amazon Prime. I miss you already. You did such a good job. Yeah, I mean, just absolutely fantastic job by Amazon Prime. Ooh, look at this. Talked about the Thunder winning the title. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say on Amazon Prime other than they did fantastic. They did a great job. I would love to see them take over more races if it was up to me. They were absolutely insane, absolutely great, 0 complaints. Like, I have no complaints about them. I've seen some people on the internet, they're like, oh, why didn't they do this interview before this interview? Like, I don't care. It's nice to have a post-race show. It's nice to have an elite pre-race show. It's nice to have an elite broadcast with almost no flaws. So, yeah, it was great to see Prime. They did a fantastic job. Yeah, that was great. 10 out of 10. Looking forward to their stint next year, hopefully. I mean, I know that we've already set the terms for the next media rights deal, but if someone wants to give up a couple more races for Prime, I'd be fine with that. But, yeah, TNT's next. NASCAR's back on TNT for the first time since 2014, I believe. So, that'll be exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what TNT does, to see what kind of extra things they do to add to the broadcast. It's going to be a similar cast and crew. You know, the booth is the exact same, but then we got Danielle Trotta. She was the host of the show for the pre-race and post-race. She's now going to be in the pits. So we're going to see a lot of similar faces. So it's all up to TNT, the direction of the broadcast, the graphics and all that. So curious to see. But yeah, Amazon Prime, I love you very much. Thank you. I can't wait till you're back next year. Ooh, the bubble again. Let's see here. Jamie, we'll get to the SVG update here in a bit. Speaking of AC/DC. Oh my goodness. That's my favorite band, fun fact. But let me Supercars fans, you guys are going to appreciate this, that I know this. Not that I know this, that I saw this news and got super excited about it. Latest news. All right, here we go. Give me a second. Still clicking. No, I don't want that. No, okay, no. Here we go. Okay, guys, look at this. I'm so excited. I'm not even going to be there, but this is just so cool and so exciting. AC/DC is going to perform the weekend of the Adelaide season finale for Supercars. Like, man, if you get to go to that concert, I'm jealous of you because, as I said, that's my favorite band. So, like, they were touring in the U.S. for a bit, and when they were in town, I was at Bristol, so I hate that I missed them. And I know the band's different. I know a couple members have died off and whatnot, and they're older and whatnot, but still, it'd be really cool to see them in concert. So, I just think that's super cool. That's just me. And they're Australian, so it's kind of cool. That's just me, though. So, anywho, thought I'd bring that up. Felt relevant. Well, Borderline Briar, AC/DC does have a song called TNT that I would assume that they'd play because they're on TNT. So, popping like a popcorn. Yeah, hey, I love AC/DC too. Well, I'm sorry you had that Zero Apex. Can't control KO, Australian television. Sorry. Wish I could do something, but the amount of power I have, like, that much. That's probably giving myself too credit. I have the power to end this stream. That's about all the power I got. That, and I can go buy a candy bar. That'd be cool. That's about all the power I have, though. So, apologies for not being able to make the Australian coverage better. Will I be at Darlington? I do not know yet. I would like to be. I will reach out to see if I can be. We'll see. But yeah, I'd like to be. I can't guarantee it, though. I should know by the end of July, hopefully, though. So I'll let you know. Oh, Jamie, that's so cool. I wish that'd be so cool to see him like in their prime and all that. Because the 80s, the 90s, that was Thunderstruck. It's appropriate considering the recent events. What else? What was in the 80s? I think Back in Black, that album was technically in the 80s. I think it was 1980. That was their first album after Bon Scott died, but let's see here. No, I think AC/DC's Australian. Yeah, they're an Australian rock band that was formed in Sydney in 1973. So let's see what the 80s were. I'm getting distracted. We're reading up on AC/DC. This is a NASCAR thing. Anyways. Yeah, You Shook Me All Night Long. That's a part of the Back in Black album. So. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. Fantasy. Who wants to talk about the Fantasy League? Guess who forgot to make a substitution yet again? Yep, that's me. Lost, because he crashed in stage 2, I think, or he had his brake go out, whatever. So I lost 36 points by not making that change. And if we go to the race results, hello, why are you like this today? Okay, sure. Let's try this button. There we go. So if I had 33 more points, oops, you can't see it. There you go. If I had 33 more points, that would put me at 213. That would put me in the top 10. Significantly. Okay. Well, all right, sure. Why not? Congrats to Klaus Van Gissenbergen. Retakes the championship lead, by the way, with that race win. Congratulations to you, my friend. Currently holds only a 7-point lead. God, this is such an exciting championship battle. It's like Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton all over again. Klaus Van Gissenbergen, 33.02, only 7 points over Dunkin' Donuts. And a little bit ways off is Zerkman 95. That's your podium at the moment. Then we got Aussie Matt in 4th. Oh boy, look at expat underscore Kiwi underscore Mike underscore Wallace. Missed the first. Mike, you got to confirm this for me. I can't remember how many races you missed. Did you miss 3 or 4 races? Missed 3 or 4 races at the beginning of the year. And look at this. Up to 5th in the points. Only a little bit over 200 points off of the lead. That could spice things up in this intense championship battle. Fantastic Priest in 6th. RT Racing 7th. 8th is Hell on Wheels, 24. 9th is Dan the Jets fan. Oh my goodness. The championship hangover is real. Still in the top 10 though, so respectable. Matt Smith, 53. Tyler Hernandez, 6. 0 Apex. Micah MLB, 15. Oscar Dave, hey! Look at this. Up to 15th. I'll take a top 15. Crackler. Then we got David Jerry, 24 fan. Dr. Zero is 18th. Sportswagon. Jamie, who by the way is a lifelong Ghana fan. That's your top 20 in the league. Then we got Nee, Hack Dash House, Supercar Nut, Space Wrangler Racing, Tritech, JTF526, Rebutted, and then we have a bunch of people who have not submitted their entries. Look at you. You have not entered at all. Anywho, that's Fantasy League. So, yep. Cool. Should I do the SVG recap now? Yeah, sure. Let's do it right now. Okay. All right. Cool. I just thought this was a really funny tweet, guys. Polly, welcome. Okay. Let me go through my notes real quick. We're going to do the SVG recap. Oh, nope. That is way too far. Okay, Pocono. Here we go. Pocono now. Cool. All right. We're going to do this 10-15 minutes. Shane Van Gisbergen recap. It'll probably be on the shorter end. I mean, like, nothing happened like the last 30 laps for him after the spin. So I'll do my best to get through this quickly. Then we'll come back to the live stream, move on to other topics. I want to talk about the in-season tournament in detail. So, yeah. But let's get this thing started. No. Out of context, this tweet is really funny. Oops, I looked the wrong way. This tweet's really funny. Now, if we look at the context, see, it's something about the racing they did in Charlotte. Anywho, that is not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Shane Van Gisbergen's day at Pocono. Obviously, Shane Van Gisbergen, prior to Sunday, was the most recent winner in the NASCAR Cup Series, won the inaugural Mexico City race. Well, you've heard of championship hangovers in sports where a team wins a championship. The next year, they do not do so well because they have a championship hangover in a sense. Well, obviously, Mexico is not the championship, but it was a Mexico hangover. SVG was involved in multiple incidents on this race day. Some self-inflicted, or one self-inflicted at least, and then others not self-inflicted. Let's just get into it. Pocono Raceway. Voice crack there. Pocono Raceway, 2.5 miles. That's equivalent to 4.02 kilometers. It's a big track. One of the biggest ovals we go to. Tied for second biggest oval we go to, I guess, since Talladega is at 2.667 miles. But point being that Pocono's a big track, but the thing that's very unique, that makes it arguably the most unique oval, it only has 3 turns, and all 3 turns are completely different. Turn 1, 14 degrees of banking based off of Trenton Raceway. Can't remember if it's a Raceway Speedway, but Trenton, based off of that racetrack. Turn 2, based off the iconic Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 8 degrees of banking. And then turn 3, the Milwaukee Mile, 6 degrees of banking. And all 3 turns are completely different radiuses. The amount you have to turn, the speeds, and then on top of that, the 3 straightaways are completely different. The long front straightaway, that's one of the longest in NASCAR, a pretty decently long back straight, and then you got a short shoot from turns 2 to 3. So it's a very unique oval, one of the most unique, arguably I would say the most unique oval that we go to in the Cup Series. So it presents a lot of challenges. This used to be back before the next gen car when they had an extra gear, and they've been shifting all the time on ovals with the extra 5th gear. This used to be the track you would shift at. In the ovals, you go from 4th to 3rd every once in a while. So from that aspect, it's kind of like a road course, but it doesn't race anything like a road course. But just like that, or just like a road course, I should say, we see multiple spotters, which you don't see at other ovals. You see that at road courses because you can't see the entire track if you're this lone primary spotter. So you need a secondary spotter. And then also, because the lap is so long, it's about a 53 to 55 second lap, depending on what part of the race you're in. Because the laps are so long, just like a road course, we can see the leaders flip a stage and pit at the end of stage 1 to get track position at the beginning of stage 2, or they can stay out, get those stage points, and then be kind of back in the traffic, restart 13th, 14th, whatever it is. So similar to road courses in some aspects, but the racing itself not very similar to road courses. So Shane Van Gisbergen qualifies 23rd. I believe that matches his best oval qualifying effort of the year. Nashville, he qualified 23rd, I want to say. So another good qualifying effort. Trackhouse continuously progressing in terms of the qualifying pace at the ovals. But he had a great lap 1. This was probably the highlight of the day for him. Gets up to 18th on lap 1. Good start to the day. Starts to fade in that first run, though. Has some issues, just the aerodynamics and traffic. He said that he was loose into the corners and whatnot, and then just tight in traffic. So by the end of stage 1 was just a super short stage, only 30 laps. Very similar to the Xfinity Series days where you'd see a super short stage 1. You can make it on a single tank of gas, so not a lot of problems there to be had. Not a lot of weird strategies to play out like we see later in the race. Turn 3 was his worst turn. That was the most complaints that you saw in terms of that. So he went from 23rd to 18th at the very first lap and then faded from 18th to 24th. But as I said earlier, you can flip the stage, you can pit, opt to go, get track position at the beginning of the stage and give up those stage points. So SVG ends up making 7 spots up because of that. They stay out because they would have gotten lapped. It's not like the road courses where you got like a 20, 30 second gap in order to pit and stay on the lead lap and get track position, it's like a 13, 14 second gap. So he's outside of that 14-second window. They can't pit. They got to stay out. They ended up finishing stage 1 17th, but they were running about 24th the majority of that stage. So as I said, turn 3 was the weak spot. That was the biggest complaint from SVG on the radio. They end up pitting. They end up restarting about where they were from the guys who had flipped the stage, but also the guys who had to come in and pit at the end of the stage, or after the stage, I should say. Net zero. They end up restarting where they were prior to the pit stops. Really bad stint. At this point, this is when the day turned sour for the 88 team. He ends up falling back to 35th, so almost dead last. Comes over the radio and says, man, I've got nothing. Lap 42, there's a caution. Bad word was used. Effing terrible. And this is where a pit road incident happened. So you guys got to remember, these pit crews, pit road speed at Pocono is 50, maybe it's 55, and then you got a 5-mile-an-hour buffer, so that's about 60 miles an hour at the top end. So I'm going to put in 60 mph to kph, or kmh to kmh. That's about 97 kilometers an hour. So, yeah, that's fast. But you got to remember, these pit crews, they're running out in front of these cars that are coming into the pit stalls at 60-ish miles an hour. They have to get stopped, obviously. They are top-tier athletes, in my opinion. These are ex-football players. These are ex-hockey players. These are ex-professional athletes out there. It's not some random guy that they just picked off the street. You can't just go in, walk into the shop and say, I want to pit a car. You have to be a professionally trained athlete, but you are also taking a lot of risk jumping in front of these 60-mile-an-hour cars on the pit lane. And, well, one of those risks was realized in this race. 88 team comes to pit on this lap 42 caution, as does the 16 of AJ Allmendinger, who is in the pit stall behind. Allmendinger, coming into his stall, just clips the tire of his own tire carrier. That tire goes flying, and you got to remember, these tires are not a 5-pound, you can fling it around, like just bounce it everywhere. These are like 50 pounds, 60 pound, maybe heavier tires, because it's got the wheel in there too. If that hits someone, it's going to hurt. And it hit one of the tire changers of the number 88 team. I have not seen anything. I believe he pitted the car the rest of the day, but you see him get hit. He ends up being, I presume, okay. He's probably going to have some bruising. It's going to hurt. I have not seen anything on if he's hurt or not, like if he's out or if he didn't. I believe he pitted the rest of the day, so I believe he's fine, but I'm not sure. If there's an update, I'll let you know, but thankfully no severe injury, like it didn't hit him in the head. That's why they wear those helmets, but it was kind of a freaky situation. He ends up finishing that pit stop. So they restart 30th. They end up falling back to about 34th once again. Just got nothing with the car. Another caution, they talk about the dirty air, how much the dirty air is playing a factor into the handling of the car. If they were further up the field, as my internet has crashed. Oh, please don't be like this today. You got to remember, I'm doing this during a live stream. So if this crashed, I apologize. If this quality is terrible, I apologize. It's during a live stream. But anyways, talking about the dirty air, trying to improve the track position with the different strategies and whatnot. So they pit again, end up restarting 28th, fall back to 32nd, lap 67, we're to 67, or lap 67 at this point. SVG says, this thing is terrible, man. Lap 78, another caution, quote, ridiculous how loose it is, 29th. So they end up pitting again. They take a little bit longer on this pit stop to make some more extreme adjustments, I guess, to get the car more to Shane Van Gisbergen's liking. At this point, they can make it on one more stop. The pit window is about 38 to 42 laps, if I remember correctly. So it's about 78, 80 to go, something like that. Steven Duran comes on the radio, talks about how clean air is going to make a difference. If they could get better track position, it would very much help. And then with 77 to go, on this next restart, there ends up being a caution for a multi-car incident. That included Shane Van Gisbergen. Kyle Busch spins out. A bunch of people behind him have to brake. SVG's behind him. I don't know who hits him in the back. Someone hits him in the back. He goes spinning. Has to pit because he has a flat tire. So they restart at the end of the field, but no extreme damage, nothing wrong with the car. They just got to replace the tires and check the right rear that got hit. But as I said, no extreme damage. They end up finishing stage 2 23rd. He said a bit of an improvement, so that's good for them. I think there was only 20 to go in the stage after that caution, after that spin. So at this point, this is when they're kind of playing the track position game. Because they pitted during that spin, they were able to stay out after that caution at the end of the stage. And they end up restarting 17th, which is the highest they would be all day long. But they kind of faded to like 23rd, and they just kind of sat in 23rd until that final cycle of pit stops. And once that final cycle of pit stops hit, with about 41, 42 to go, I got 41 to go written down here. That's when we see the pit cycle begin. They end up pitting with 38 laps to go. He has to wait a couple of seconds on fuel, make sure that they filled it up so that they can make it to the end of the race. And then just a couple of laps later is when we have the spin. 35 laps to go, all by himself, no one around him. Shane Van Gisbergen just loses the car, spins out, and that's race for them. Now, he did not DNF. He ends up going on to finish the race 31st, one lap down. But as a result, he was the first car one lap down. And if you guys remember the rule, if you are the car that is if you are the first car one lap down, you get your lap back. It's called the lucky dog. It's called the free pass, whatever you want to call it. It's a great thing to be the first car one lap down because if there's a caution, you get your lap back. However, there is a big however. There is one instance that if you are the car one lap down, the first car one lap down, you don't get your lap back. And that instance is if you are the caution. Because obviously, if you were the first car one lap down and that rule did not exist, would you not just do a little bit of a half spin, cause a caution, and then, oh, look at me, I got my lap back? Like, it's to prevent things like that. So Shane Van Gisbergen was the first car one lap down during this pit cycle, but because he was the caution, he did not get his lap back, and that was it. So he ends up 31st, one lap down, falls from 30th to 31st in the standings, but he does have that win, so he's in the playoffs. So odd SVG recap. Not a great day for him, but thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this during a live stream, so apologies. I got to get back to it, though. Okay, guys, thank you for your patience every week as I do that. Whew, I don't know. I'm all over the place today, so apologies if that sucked. I guess we can close out this tab now. Ooh, let's talk about the in-season challenge. First of all, I want to say, I think this thing is extremely cool. I think this is such a fun concept. It has no impact on the championship. It has no impact on the playoff field, which is also the championship. It has no impact on who wins a race. Like, if you finish third and your opponent finishes eighth, you advance. Like, you don't have to win the race to advance. Some guys are still fighting for a playoff spot. Some guys are just fighting for the fun of it. Like, there is a lot of fun with this tournament. I think it's a great concept. It really spices up the summer months because sometimes the summer can get dull. So I think it's really fun. I think it's really exciting. However, I feel like NASCAR's done a terrible job at promoting this. Like, this is this brand new concept that's going to be on TNT. It's the entirety of the TNT schedule. And you hear about people talking about how they've never seen it. They've never heard of it. They didn't know this existed, or they forgot it existed. It has not been promoted. Great. Which really sucks because it's a really fun concept. And also, why did they change the name? It was called the In-Season Tournament, and then around May, they were like, we're going to call it the In-Season Challenge. Like, what? I mean, if you're going to call it the In-Season Challenge, great, but can't you introduce it as that? Why are we changing the name before the first one's even happened? I don't know, man. Those are my 2 complaints about it. It's not being promoted great because we got people who don't even know about it. And also, they changed the name of it, like, before it even happened. Other than that, it's a fantastic idea. It's a fantastic concept. Of course, I love making a good bracket. Well, I don't love making a good bracket because my brackets usually suck. But I love making a bracket because I know I'm going to do terrible and get insulted. And I deserve the insults. But on Thursday, I will be making a bracket. I will print one off. I will do a handwritten bracket because I think a handwritten bracket is better than anything. And I will pick between Denny Hamlin and Ty Dillon, Brad Keselowski and Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, Daniel Suarez, John Hunter Nemechek, Josh Berry, Chase Elliott, Austin Dillon, Ross Chastain, Eric Jones, Christopher Bell, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. You can't see it here. Can you see it now? Yes, you can. Todd Gilliland, Chris Buescher, Cindric Smith, Haley, Ty Gibbs, McDowell, Allmendinger, Larson Reddick. Oh, this is a first-round matchup. I forgot about the wax seeding, so now Reddick's a 23. Hocevar Blaney, Byron's the 18, Priest is the 15. Okay. Briscoe and Gregson. So that's your bracket. But I'm going to make a bracket. One of our Monday picks this week will be who do you think is going to win the bracket. I will not tell you my pick yet because, frankly, I have not filled out my bracket yet. But Thursday, get excited. I'm making my bracket. It's going to be horrible. You guys can laugh at me. I want to hear your bold predictions on this thing. I want to hear who you think is going to win the bracket. So, yeah. Let's hear it, I guess. I guess this can be our first session of Monday picks. We're not quite ready to talk about Atlanta and Lime Rock yet, but let's do it. Let's talk about the in-season tournament. Who do you think is going to win the tournament? And what do you think is going to be the biggest upset? I don't mean seeding. I mean like for example, Justin Haley over Ty Gibbs. That would be a pretty decent upset if you ask me. Whereas when we come over to Bowman Logano, if this was at Kansas, I would say that this would be an upset, Logano beating Bowman. But Logano's an elite super speedway racer. Penske is fantastic at Atlanta. Logano's going to be favored in this matchup, but it's the 25 versus the 8. That is not an upset. Byron as the 18 beating Priest as the 15. That is not an upset. Now, Gregson beating Briscoe, that is an upset. Ty Dillon beating Hamlin, that is an upset. So, let's hear it. Who do you think is the biggest upset, and who do you think wins it all? Okay, Borderline Breyer thinks that Bell loses first round, and Bell is the most recent Atlanta winner, but Stenhouse is a really good super speedway racer, so that would be an upset, but yeah, okay. Reminder that the winner gets $1 million, so that's cool. Jamie says Gibbs and Logano. Are those your championship picks? Is that your championship matchup, I guess? Stenhouse over Bell. Okay, so we got 2 people picking Stenhouse over the Bell. Haley over Gibbs is fantastic. Priest's pick. All right, okay. I can't wait to see what the odds are. Borderline Breyer's going with McDowell to win it. I will say, though, the first 3 rounds of this actually do favor McDowell because it's a road course or 2 road courses and a super speedway. Also, they named the rounds. Can we not just call it like round of 32, Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final 4? Are we going to get copyrighted for that or something? I don't know. Anywho, any other big picks? Anyone else want to pick Elliott over Briscoe? So that would mean Briscoe goes all the way here. Let's see, Elliott. I will say this schedule, if Elliott survives Atlanta, this is actually an extremely favorable schedule for Elliott. 2 road courses, Dover, which is one of the 2-3 tracks he has multiple wins at, and then the Brickyard, where all you got to do is beat one guy. Like, I think if Elliott can get out of Atlanta fine, he's got a pretty good shot at this thing. So, anywho. Jamie says Brad over Bush. John says, is Byron will win the championship or tournament? I'm assuming that means Byron will win the champion or tournament. God, guys, I'm so off today. Eric Jones over Mike Wallace. Mike, that is kind of a bold pick. I mean, Jones has been doing really good this year, but Chastain and Trackhouse, they've done pretty good in Atlanta. Daniel Suarez has won there. Chastain and SVG led laps there in the spring. Like, I don't know. Anywho. All right, I'll tell you guys my picks on Thursday. Once again, Mike, you're going to get early access to it. I'm going to post it early here. I don't know if you'll be awake in New Zealand yet, but I'll post it early, and then I'll post the real thing, like the full thing. Probably 5, 6 o'clock local time. I'm seeing the F1 movie on, what time is that? Like 4 p.m. on Thursday. So as soon as I'm out of that movie, I'll upload it. How about that? Or I'll make it public. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to making a bracket. We've talked about this. Okay. All right, speaking of Monday picks, let's make our Monday picks for Atlanta and Lime Rock. Let's talk about Lime Rock Park first, a road course in the Truck Series. So, we got Brent Cruz in the 1 truck this week. We have a couple of 125-year-olds in the 1 or the 02 and the 2 truck. Other notable entries, Thomas and I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, so not sure. Annunciata. Grant Enfinger. We know that Jordan Taylor's going to be in the 7. That's a really big deal. I think that's going to be a heavy contender for the win. A really good truck and a really good driver. Other notable entries, we got another 125-year-old. Josh Bilicki's in the 44. Let's see. Cam Waters is in the 66. So, straight out of Australia. Other than that, pretty normal. So, we've got some big entries. We've got some heavy hitters for a truck road course race. We got Cam Waters in there. We got Jordan Taylor. Let's hear it. Let's hear our Monday picks. Oh, Norm is racing. Let's go. First Monday pick for me, Norm Binning top 30. I'm feeling it this week. I'm feeling a Norm top 30. I'm feeling it. So, Monday picks for the truck race. Borderline Briar, Connor Mozak. Okay. Suarez fan 000. Grant Enfinger. Hey, he's the highest in the points, so he's kind of due, I feel like. Jake Garcia, that would kind of burst the playoff bubble. Cash.gg. Mike Wallace says, wouldn't it be great if Cam wins the truck race? Never know. I think he'll be a contender. Tanner Gray is anti-Waffles pick. Ty Majeski is Jamie's pick. Andres Perez de Lara is Todd 1010's pick. Anyone else? Anyone else got any Monday picks for the truck series? Cam Waters is Sean's pick. So we got a couple Cam Waters, but we got a variety of pick. We got a Connor Mozak. We've got a Grant Enfinger, Jake Garcia. We've got Jordan Taylor from In Between the Lanes. Andres Perez. We got Ty Majeski. Tyler Ankrum for Jokes on You, LOL. Great name. I'm going to go with Jordan Taylor. Jordan Taylor's got experience at this track. He's a world-class driver. I think it'd be so fun. Cam Waters versus Jordan Taylor. That would be a really fun combo to see them fight for the win. I'm going to go with Jordan Taylor, though. Brock's going to go with Cam Waters. Let's move on to Xfinity. Xfinity is at Atlanta. So, oh, crap. I knew this was going to happen. Sorry. Echo Park Speedway. Xfinity is at Echo Park Speedway, and I will be calling it Atlanta. So, sorry, Echo Park, but I'm calling it Atlanta. Going through this entry list, seeing if there's any notable entries. Almirola's in the 19. Patrick Staropoli is in the 24 Sam Hunt racing car. Catherine Legg is in the 32. Coming down this order, we're going to see. That's about it. That's about all I got. So, Austin Hill is in between the lanes pick. Brendan Poole is going, or Borderline Briar's going with Brendan Poole. Nikolai P. Culp Fan 2000 is going with Jeb Burton. Jesse Love is Jamie's pick. Blaine Perkins is Gamer Garrett sucks. Well, that's not nice. Sean is going with Allgaier. Anyone else? Xfinity picks for Echo Park Speedway. Oh, Mike Wallace is going with Jesse Love. So we got a couple of Jesse Love picks. We got Daniel Dye. Go away, says Daniel Dye. I feel bad for saying that name. I'm going to go boring on this one. I'm going to go Austin Hill. Austin Hill dominates these races, and then when it comes back to the rest of the Xfinity field trying to team up, they end up, it's an every man for himself on the last lap at Atlanta, and no one tries to team up to beat Austin Hill and get a run on him. So Austin Hill's probably going to win. Jesse Love second, more than likely. But hey, you never know. So I'm going to go with Austin Hill to get like his billionth win at Atlanta. Roblox Ben _XDYT is going with Harrison Burton. Okay, let's go to the Cup Series. Cup Series entry list at Echo Park Speedway. Notable entries. We got Corey LaJoie in the Rick Ware Racing 01. We have other notable entries are, I believe we have a 40-car field this week. I think Zilisch is in it. JJ Yaley's going to be in it. We have got David Starr in the 66. That's fun. BJ McLeod, Get Loud for McLeod in the Live Fast Motorsports car. And then Connor Zilisch in the 87. So we have a 40-car field. 41. Oh, we have a 41-car. Someone's going to get booted. Wow. That's exciting. Ooh. That's really, really exciting. Ryan Anderson 700 is going to go with Austin Dillon. Jamie's going with Joey Logano to defend his Atlanta fall race. He was in the fall last year. Borderline Briar's going with Riley Herbst. Cash.gg's going with Ryan Preece. Ooh, in between the lanes, Austin Dillon. That's kind of fun. I'm trying to think. Do we see a new winner? Do we see a repeat winner? Like, I don't know. Mike Wallace is going with Blaney. Jamie saying that JJ Yaley is going to be the car to miss. Suarez Fan 000 is going with Ty Dillon. Anti-Waffles is going with Cody Ware. Everyone, I talked this whole live stream about how we only see normal winners at Atlanta. Like, I feel like that means I have to pick a normal winner. But go back offline is Todd Gilliland's pick. I will go back offline once I'm done with this. So Justin Haley is Paulie's pick. We got a lot of picks here. I talked so much about how it's going to be a normal winner and we're going to have a normal name winning this race, but I'll go with Todd Gilliland. Sure. Todd Gilliland helps the Thunder win the finals and just a few days later wins the race. Sure. That seems like a fun story. I'm going to go with Todd Gilliland. Yeah. Spoilers going with Michael McDowell. Ben Gaming _YT is going with Cole Custer. All right. Wow. Anyways, guys, I got to get this SVG video up. Then I got to get some sleep. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Atlanta this weekend. Remember, it's a Saturday night race. It is not on a normal Sunday afternoon. The Xfinity race will be on a Friday night. And then on Saturday morning / Saturday afternoon will be the truck race. And then Saturday night will be the Cup race. So it's going to be a very different schedule this week. But anywho, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I will get on it with this SVG.